Oh my. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Offsides. Pete, you say you're doing outstanding, so you're doing great today, huh?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm
Yeah,
good.
we about to kick off week 2 of the season tonight, huh?
Yep.
But I was kind of mad, yo. I missed a lot of games on Sunday because I missed a lot of the Thursday game. I was in DR. Fridays, I saw some of it. We was at a Japanese restaurant on the resort. Bless you. And I saw some of the game on my phone, and then I finished it off in the room on my iPad. And then Sunday I was traveling back, so I missed almost all the games except for I missed all of them except the Sunday night game.
Sunday night.
I was watching that on the plane coming back because by the time I landed, and then when I got home, it was over. So I enjoyed it. But real quick, man. So what's some of your takeaways? Like, give me a something that surprised you and something that I guess disappointed you about week 1.
What surprised me was Dallas. Uh, as much as it pains to say for me to say this, Dallas looked pretty good
Mm-hmm.
on the road against one of the best defenses in the league. And it's not like the offense put up 50 points, but I didn't expect Cleveland to look that bad. So we don't know if it's that Cleveland is bad or we don't know if Dallas is actually pretty good. Regardless of them not doing a whole bunch of signings this offseason, they look pretty good against Cleveland. I gotta say. And the other thing for me was San Francisco against, on one of even though they were at home, it was against, a lot of everybody was, pumping the elite defense, elite this, elite that, and the backup running back ran all over them.
Yeah, Mason.
So, and think about this. Backup running back, Ayuk didn't practice the whole freaking summer, and Trent Williams just showed up like 2 days before the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran it down their throats. So those are the two things that really stood out to me from the first week.
So so that's what stood out. What about disappointment, I guess, in that part?
Bengals.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
A lot of people picked them for the Super Bowl. And I didn't see it, to be quite honest, because they lost Mixon, they lost Boyd. These guys, Higgins is on a franchise tag and Jamar Chase wants his money. I didn't see it. I didn't see them as a contender like that. So, but again, still expected them because the Patriots were a lot of people like, oh, they may not win a game. They may be the second pick in the draft, first pick in the draft, and they beat them.
So my biggest takeaway, I guess, not my surprising moment. I guess let me do disappointment first. Was the Browns and the Bengals. Those were the two that disappointed me the most. Because I felt like, it's my team that won. So a lot of people are like, oh, Frank, you should celebrate your team winning. And I said, look, I'm happy they won. But I'm also a realist. You know what I'm saying? I'm also, let's be honest. The Bengals didn't play like we would think the Bengals was gonna play. T. Higgins wasn't out there. Gonzalez did a great job locking down Jamar Chase, but when I don't have to worry about your second receiver or even your third because you don't have Tyler Boyd, you lost Joe Mixon. You know what I'm saying? So the defense could plan a lot better than when you had Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Mixon, and Burrow's actually playing like Burrow. Then you got more to worry about than just one player or two. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my defense. I knew the defense was going to be good, and I think you and I spoke about it one time, and I said, look, they should feel disrespected that nobody got them winning. Like I watch all these talk shows, and they're like, oh, the Patriots, there's only three teams in the East now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was only one team in the East. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. And I said it as a player. If it's me, whether I'm a professional, if I made it to your team, if I made a 53-man roster, that means I'm good enough to be on a team. So then at the end of the day, hearing that kind of talk would motivate me to want to be better. You know what I'm saying? To play better. So shout out to my team, but the disappointment was the Bengals. I got the Bengals. I'm a Joe Burrow fan. Like I think that if anybody in the NFL can beat Mahomes, it's Joe Burrow. But I didn't see the game. I saw the stats. I know stats don't tell the whole story. but I'm not gonna celebrate. I'm gonna celebrate the win, like, yo, thanks, my team won, but I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna go think that we're gonna go on a, have a 9-8 season. We might, but you never know. So I was disappointed on that. And the Browns, bro, like, you had the number one defense last year. Like, you was number one, number two defense. And I get it. You know what? Cowboys, like you said, the chemistry was there. They didn't really add nothing different, but Deshaun Watson went out there and played horrible. Now I understand his dad died, and I think previous to that, his college teammate, like his brother, passed away. Then he gets hit with this other lawsuit. So I know that mentally he's not all there, but if that's the case, bro, listen, I would say it was something that Acho said today, and I'll touch on it a little bit here. If you're not ready to play and you're gonna hurt your team, then sit out. Sit out.
especially the quarterback.
Yeah, especially quarterback. So those are my two disappointment. My surprisement, my surprising, I would say 49ers was one. I was surprised the Jets ain't even, they had one good drive. You know what I'm saying? After that, it was 8 straight scores, whether it was, people was like, oh, 6 field goals. So what? So what? They kicked the field goals. They scored 2 touchdowns. They were moving the ball. You said Mason. I picked up Mason 10 minutes before the game because in one of my leagues, I was the first pick. So I went McCaffrey. And when I heard McCaffrey was out, I was like, oh, who's the backup? So I went and looked. I picked him up. I started him. And, bro, that dude got me points. So that, and I want to say, yeah, I think that's it. That's it for me. The surprising part on that side wasn't disappointment from the Jets. It was just more like, damn, I'm surprised y'all can't even put it together, Aaron. You're supposed to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks, and you're not even pulling it together. You know what I mean? So, but going back, so last week we talked about the main games that we were going to see, like the Ravens and Chiefs, Eagles and Packers, Cowboys and Browns, Rams and Lions, and 49ers and Jets. So let's recap those real quick without going into everybody else. And I wanted to talk about your team too, because I wanted to ask you a question. I didn't put in the notes, but it's something I saw today. So I didn't see much about the Ravens Chiefs games. Like I said, I was in Dominican Republic and we was out having drinks and I didn't see it. But I saw that at the end, it came down to a toe tap on the line. How was the game? Was the Ravens competitive? I saw some of the first few drives and I saw the Chiefs move the ball down the field. Like it looked like they didn't have a problem. And I saw the reverse with Xavier Worthing running the ball in for a touchdown. But what's your take on the game? I wasn't able to watch it.
It was what was expected. It came down to the last play, and before they reviewed it, Harbaugh was already saying go for 2, so they were going for the win.
Yeah.
So that wasn't going to overtime. They were going for the win, but of course they reviewed it. He was out of bounds. I mean, again, by the slimmest of margins, his toe. It sucks because it was a good game, and again, they were setting it up. They were going to go for 2, so there was one play. It was going to they either coming out with the W or the Chiefs were. So it was their opportunity to beat them, but it didn't happen. Worthy, they got him the ball, a couple times, and look, I mean, is he Tyreek Hill? No, but is he fast? He sure is, and that's what they need. Kelsey was pretty much a non-factor. It was Rashid Rice. It was Rashid Rice, and it was Worthy, and Pacheco scored. It was a good game. It came down to that last play. Lamar was running all over the place. Mark Andrews, you didn't hear nothing from him. It was Isaiah Likely.
I had him on the bench, bro. 26 points on the bench.
So yeah, it was a good game, man. It was a good game. It came down to that last play.
So there's a lot of football left. A lot. We had a tape where we talked about, is it a must win for the Ravens? You know what I'm saying? They lost, but based on what you saw, do you think the Ravens are in a good spot for the rest of the season?
Yeah, they're gonna be in the mix. But it seemed like they went away from the run again. Henry scored as well, but that was like on the first drive. But he wasn't in the mix like he should have been, or like you thought he would have been after they lost in the playoffs, running it only 11 times.
Mm-hmm. Harbaugh tried to say he wasn't going to run Henry like excuse me, like that. That's not what they brought him there for. Um, I don't know if the play calling is just I don't know why people go away from what makes them successful. You know, it's like even in boxing, some guys go out there, they know that they're not fighters and not sluggers, but they want to punch with a puncher. You don't do that. You box. You know, stick to what you're good at. Play the game that you play, and you should come out on top. The Chiefs look great from what I saw in the highlights. I mean, Mahomes looked like he was Mahomes. They got the
Business as
chemistry.
usual.
Yeah,
Business as usual, bro.
yeah, for them, it was nothing. I saw some of the Eagles and Packers game. Jalen, 2 picks, a fumble. Packers probably could have won that game if Love wouldn't overthrow the ball sometimes, that there wasn't so many drop passes. You know, it came down to a play. Love is hurt now. He's out. We're gonna talk about that a little later. But what was your take on that game? Like what you saw that you like and didn't like? And I'll tell you what I saw from the Eagles that I didn't like and stuff like that.
So like I said, business as usual with the Chiefs and the Ravens, right? It looked like a game from last year, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
The same thing with the Eagles. The Eagles, when they were 10-1, they were winning a lot of close games.
Mm-hmm.
This was the same thing. Besides Barkley. Barkley looked amazing. But
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised at that because Barkley's a great player, and they put him finally with other great players. The only
Yeah.
time he was with a player that was like on his level was when he was with Odell.
Yeah.
So you put him with AJ Brown, Smith, Jalen Hurts, a great offensive line.
Yep.
I'm
That's the
not
key there.
surprised. I'm
Yeah.
really
That's
not surprised how Barkley came out. But again, they won close. What they need, and June has said this as well. What he was more concerned with was the defense. The defense didn't really do much. And Jalen Hurts was sloppy with the ball. I don't want to. I don't put the fumble on him because that was on the center.
yeah. It was.
But the
Yeah.
two interceptions were bad decisions, not bad throws, bad decisions. And then he almost threw a third.
Yeah.
So Jalen Hurts was sloppy with the ball, but look, they won and they could use this week to, fix that stuff. They got an extra day because they play on Monday. But for me, Love didn't look on point either. These guys don't play in the preseason. This is like their first game. So they didn't look. I mean, and Philly started slow too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let me not say Philly. Jalen Hurts started slow too because before the bomb to AJ Brown, he was, again, he threw a pick.
Yeah.
The fumble, I don't blame him for the fumble. That was on the center. But then later on, he threw that pick in the end zone, which was two bad decisions on the interceptions. But just like last year, they came away with a win. And that's what, look, if they're getting W's, so it doesn't really matter.
So what I said last year to June, before we started this podcast, and we on the play call, because he thought I was hating. I'm not hating. I like Jalen. I think Jalen's a great quarterback. But you also got to look at the numbers, right? Last year he had double the turnovers that he had the year before. This year he's already starting with 2 in the first game. The fumble, like I said, that's on the
Three, well, he's got 3.
Yeah.
It counted against him. So
yeah. So he has a fumble and an interception. That's 3 turnovers. If at that rate, if you average that per game, you're looking at what 51 turnovers in a season. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So if he matches what he had last year, that's a concern. That's a concern because you're giving the other team opportunities. So that's why I said I don't know the margin of points off turnovers from the Packers off those 3 turnovers. However, the Packers weren't good. They weren't on point right away, like you said. I watched the game. I was on
they
my
definitely
phone.
weren't.
I had a VPN. I'm at a hibachi Japanese steakhouse on a resort, bro, and I got my phone. No, that was, you know what? I'm lying to you. That was when I watched the Chiefs and Ravens. I watched a little bit of that. But this Friday, I was at a Italian restaurant with Nikki and another business partner, and I'm on my phone watching the game. And I was looking like, man, I think Love was a little rusty. And I feel like I said if he was playing like he was playing towards the end of last season, some of those passes would have got caught, and some of them throws been better.
He was off. He was definitely off,
completely off. And I think it would have hurt the Eagles more. So they came away with a W. But why reason I'm saying all this is because I used to tell June, that's good. That works until it doesn't work no more. That's good until it doesn't is not good. That's good until you come across a team that's not gonna make mistakes, that's not gonna let off, that's gonna play great. That's a concern when your quarterback who didn't do those many turnovers before is giving turnovers now. So, but I think the Eagles gonna be okay. I think the Eagles gonna be fine. You know, they got too much talent, bro. Saquon looked amazing, man. He looked up 3 touchdowns. The one in the end zone he caught, I was like, yo, this dude just put it in there. He got it. I mean, I know Joe Shine is like Joe Shane or whatever his name is looking like, man, we probably should have gave him more money. But truth be told, your offensive line ain't like that. And you know, it wouldn't be the same result. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, God
Look,
bless him over there.
Micah Parson was like, and this is, and I don't know if this is just talking out of his ass just to get clicks, but he said, "Oh, there needs to be an investigation." Why? What's the matter? So Saquon got his money and he went to a better team. Why is everybody upset?
I didn't hear him say that. Why would he say
Yeah.
this
Well,
investigation?
because he's from Penn State and that's his guy. They both went to Penn State, not at the same
Mhm.
time, but you know how it is.
Yeah,
But I don't understand what's the you don't hear nothing from Eagles fans. They're ecstatic to have
of
him.
course.
But other teams are like, oh, shame this, shame that. Why do you care? They don't have the luxury of having a running
No,
back. They don't.
he Joe.
Saquon would have been struggling to get 80 yards against with the Giants
Yeah,
offensive
yeah.
line.
He, in my opinion, as a GM, after watching Hard Knocks, I understand his stance. I do. He doubled down on it. I paid this quarterback. We got to make it do what it do. He offered him money. It wasn't that much of a difference from what the Eagles paid to what you guys are offering. He made the choice that was better for him. Let's just like to me, stand on business. Just say that. They offered me a mil more, but at least over there, the quarterback, I got two, they got 2 wide receiver 1s as 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Like they probably got the best wide receiver tandem that's out there. And never mind a tight end and all the other rest of the stuff that goes with it. Howie, right? That's his name over there,
Yep.
GM. He knows what he's doing. And they went and got who's the other guy they got as Dotson that didn't do nothing, but still, I mean,
Like I said.
he's there. So you said Kyle, you already kind of spoke on the Cowboys and Browns, disappointment on the Browns not playing, Cowboys surprised. Um, I don't know. I felt like that was more of the Browns not showing up and the Cowboys dominating. That's
A
just how
little
I
bit of
see it.
both. Yeah.
Yeah. What about so Rams and Lions? I felt the Lions wanted it more when it came down to overtime.
Definitely. Absolutely.
I felt they both came off a little shaky at first. I had St. Brown in my lineup. He got me less than 10 points, I think. I don't think he even got me more than 10. I don't even think he got 10, to be honest. And
You did it. I
yeah,
got him too. So
yeah.
no.
So it was Cooper Cup got me points now. He brought me back in some leagues. I still lost, but he brought me a lot closer than what I was. But he had like 30 points, I think, in fantasy. But they lost Puka in the process. Rams look good. That Rams look decent, man. They look pretty good.
And they had a lot and they lost a lot of players.
Mm-hmm. Gibbs, amazing guy. The dude, Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where he came out. He's out of Alabama, but I mean, I don't know. That dude showed up big time, man. Big
Well,
time.
what happened was when they first drafted him, he was injured. He got injured in
Yeah.
college, so they drafted him. And they kind of, that first year was like a redshirt year. Then he got suspended for gambling.
Mm.
So last year he kind of got out the gate slow, but then this year it was like his breakout year. He had a great game. So that's why you didn't see a lot from Amon-Ra St. Brown, but let's see what happens this week.
Yeah, because I need St. Brown to show up, bro.
You and me both.
Hey, he was my first pick in some leagues. I was so at the bottom. But like I said, I think the Lions wanted it more. Lions look great. Perseverance was there. They overcame it. I'm not too worried about the Rams either. They look like, they're pretty good as well. They took some hits, but I don't know. I found that I like how the Lions look, man. I think they're doing that dude Hutchinson's amazing, bro. Like he was in the backfield every 2 seconds. Like it didn't matter. That dude's crazy. Any takeaways from that game that you like or
I think I said this before. I'm a Stafford guy, yo. I like Stafford a lot.
yeah,
Like
you
that's
have
one of my favorite quarterbacks. And they were in the game because he's a pro. He knows what he's doing. They had backup offensive linemen in there. He's just got pretty much Cooper Cup. And it on the road against the team that was in the NFC Championship game. Like Stafford is the dude to me, man. Like he's He's that dude, man.
Stafford
But
is
I'm impressed with the Rams, but the same way we talk about Philly having a great roster, the Lions got a really good roster as well. They really got a good roster. So they got, you know, a good 1-2 punch at running back,
right.
Laporta, St. Brown, and now if Jameson Williams comes out now, they can they're I can see them back in the championship game.
Yeah, no, I can see him too, and I think that Dan Campbell learned from his mistakes from last year.
I hope so.
He
Because
went for a fourth down conversion and got it, but there was a point there when he was in red zone, and I thought he was going to go for it. He ended up taking a field goal. I like what I saw from them. I think that you said the 1-2 punch. You stole my thoughts. It was right there. Montgomery at first was running. I got Gibbs on my lineup, and I'm like, bro, is he gonna play? But then it's like once Montgomery softened them up, here comes Gibbs with the speed, and let's just go get it. You know.
it looks to me like they're doing 1 quarter each. Like you get this quarter, you get this quarter. 2 minute after the you know the 2 minute drill, they're doing they got Gibbs in, you know what I'm saying? But that the overtime drive, I think their intention was like, yo, we're just gonna run this shit right down their fucking throats, and that's what they did. Last play of the game was him running it in.
So Chris Collinsworth says something that you really don't think about, but he's been broadcasting and he played. He said the first game of the season is really the toughest on the team. These guys are exhausted. A lot of them didn't play during the preseason. You're out there now, and now you're playing an extra quarter in a sense because you're in overtime. You're getting hit, you're running around, things are moving so much faster. So it's like one of those things, man, where I was like, when he said that, I said it made sense on how he explained it. And I think that's what happened to the Rams, man. I mean, the Lions were at home. They knew it. I think they felt it. It was we're just gonna run down their throat and put it we're gonna end this now. We're not gonna go back and forth. We're not gonna give them a chance. We're gonna go and make it do what it do. So I think it was dope. And of course, Monday night, 49ers and Jets, we kind of talked about it a little bit. Are you so 49ers look great. Like you said, like they didn't skip a beat, and Ayuk dropped passes. You know what I'm saying? And imagine if he would have caught those passes, especially the one in the end zone. This game could have got out of hand real fast. No McCaffrey. This dude Mason shows up, like undrafted free agent that they picked up, and he's out there running the ball, which now they got a 1-2 punch to themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have to bring McCaffrey back real fast.
Yeah,
They let him heal. So that's a good look. I don't think McCaffrey's playing this
he's
upcoming.
not playing this week.
Yeah, I'm leaving Mason in the lineup. The Jets. Let's talk about that. I think that's the more story of it. Had one of the top defenses in the league. They went and traded for Hassan Reddick. They didn't pay him. He's sitting out. He's losing over $800,000 a game. He's about to be like $5 million fines total. Rodgers, he didn't break 200 yards. Was looking like he wanted to get out the pocket at times. He was scared to do it. Lazard dropping passes. Wilson did his thing, but I mean, he can't be the only one. I don't even think the tight end caught a pass that day because I was playing somebody that had him and he was at 0 the whole game. What is your take on that, bro? Like, is Rodgers? Is he done? Is that team done, or is it that it's just against a superior team, so he couldn't do nothing?
Superior team. The 49ers are better. That's to me. That's 49ers are just a better team. They have a better coach. They have a better coaching staff. I'm not gonna say the quarterback is better because it's Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say Purdy's better than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But Purdy's got he's familiar with what he's doing, and Aaron Rodgers kind of isn't, even though he's sitting since last year. He's got the playbook since last year, and he's been at training camp this year, but not the same. Purdy's played games with these guys. This was Aaron Rodgers' first game ever with these guys, and he looked rusty. It's funny because I was watching The Herd, and that's the only show I'll tune into on FS1, and that's not even every day. I gotta be in the mood to listen to that shit because sometimes these dudes just got shit coming out their mouths. But they brought up his passing chart.
Okay.
It was like, 90% was to the left.
Yeah.
That's crazy. and it's especially with Aaron Rodgers. This is not a rookie. This is Aaron Rodgers. It's coming from just one side. So that was weird. But again, this was his first game with these guys back from a serious injury. A lot of hype. I thought it would be a better game. It wasn't. This was no contest, man. These
No,
dudes are dominant.
yeah. Like I said, they went 3 and out the first drive. But once the 49ers got going and the defense adjusted, that one drive with that Rodgers scored, that Brees Hall scored the touchdown. I just feel the defense was caught off guard, and once they adjusted, it was a wrap. It was no match. I agree. He looked rusty. I'm not I'm worried about it as far as in the division because we just saw Josh Allen be down. Like I think 11 to 14 points. And
I think it was 17-3. I think it was 17-3.
17-3. He was down 14 points. And a dude comes back and basically 4 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing. Puts the team on his back, essentially. He's like, yo, F it. We're going to make it do what it do. If he's doing that, and I get it, it was against the Cardinals. It's you know, it's what's his name? Kyler Murray. He'd rather be playing Call of Duty. I get it. It's still an NFL team. He was still down 14.
Definitely, yeah.
And you don't have Diggs. You know, you don't have certain pieces. You're working with a young receiving core. If he could minimize his turnovers and do that, the Jets might not even stand a chance. But Miami pulled out a win against the Jags, which I picked Miami to win, but that could have went the Jags' way too if ETN doesn't fumble the ball again.
Absolutely, no. But one thing I would say is we got to give the Dolphins credit for that because it's not like ETN just fumbled. No, he punched that out.
Yeah.
He punched that out, man, right before the goal line. Listen, that's a clutch play. I don't like when people say, "Oh, that was luck." How is it luck? This dude fucking punched that out. It's not a luck. It's not a lucky play. It's not a lucky win. They earned that, man. The next play was an 80-yarder or 70-yarder to Tyreek.
Yeah.
So, man, I got to give him props on that. But it's what the funny thing is to me is all the Jets are in last place.
Mm-hmm.
They're in last place. Only team in the division didn't win.
Hey, we pulled out a win. Listen, shout out to my team. Let's go.
But I'll say one more thing about the Jets and the 49ers. They both got players because the Jets got good players on offense and on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they couldn't stand up to them, but that's when the coaching comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say, you could have all the players, but if you don't got a good coach, that's what it shows.
Look, coaching matters, and Salah's out of his depth when he's going against Kyle Shanahan. And I will say this: if the Jets had the chemistry, then maybe it would have been a different game. I'm not saying that they would have won, but it could have been a nice, good game. Rodgers is going to have to play like Rodgers to win games. Less than 200 yards passing in a game is not going to win. Not in today's league. Not the way it's built. We saw the Bears. Oh boy, threw for less than 100 yards. But I mean, who they were playing, I forgot. It does. Oh,
the Titans. But it's obvious why they won. The defense scored twice. The defense literally scored 2 touchdowns. That's why they won.
I had them on fantasy, bro. I picked the Bears defense.
So did I.
Got me points. So you look at that. You look at even my team. Brissett threw for like 121 yards, bro. But defense did everything. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happened. It came down to defense, the kicker, and Ramondre Stevenson run the ball in. So, it's some teams you're going to get by with, some teams catching them early. But by week 4, these teams are going to start cooking if they're not already cooking. So you got to think people like the Chiefs, the Eagles that look good, the 49ers, the Lions, all these other teams that by week 4, that chemistry, it's already going to be rolling. So you playing catch up if by week 4 you're finally throwing for 200 plus yards in a game. In order for Aaron to pull it out, they're going to have to really play football. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to go out and throw the ball, lead the team, be the veteran, show these guys, hey, we can win. We could win. He's going to have to do what kind of Brady did in Tampa and say, look, we're going to have to change this around. Let me give you hope. Let's go and win and let's focus. Before I go to the Jordan, let's do Jordan Love. He got hurt. I think MCL sprain in towards the end of the game, trying to make something happen. They reached out to Tannehill, but they got Malik Willis. What's your take on that? Like, where do you see the right now? He's out for like 4 weeks, I think, 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. Or 3 to 4 weeks. Anyway, 4 weeks in football is it's a lot. If they go 0-4, 0-5 between now and then, like, what's your take on it? What do you see the Packers at now in that division in the North? The Lions are cooking, you know what I'm saying? So they was between them and the Lions. So
it sucks that he got hurt. I mean, they're still like saying, yeah, they haven't ruled him out yet this week, but of course that's just like, I think some gamesmanship on their part. But listen, if he does go, I wouldn't count a team out like that because they went last year. They got a quarterback who's been through it. They had the hot stretch at the end last year. So, if he misses more than 4 weeks, then I think it's a problem. I think well, if let's say they go 0-4, that means they're going to be 0-5 if he misses 4 games.
Mhm.
Then there's really no room for error, but it could be done. I mean, they can get the last wild card. You never know. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I would say would be available to them, an option for them, because of course they would be 0-5. Let's say in that scenario, they'd be 0-5. Think about it. They have to go on a hell of a run to get that last wild card spot. They're not going to win the division if they're giving these guys 5-game lead. That's not going to happen.
But they can make a run. We've seen wild card teams.
Absolutely, yeah.
They can make the run. So that's the same thing I think. I say, listen, man, if you're hurt, sit out. They just paid you all this money. Sit out. Get better. They have Malik. I heard they reached out to Tannehill. They got a good offensive-minded coach over there. So it's not like they got a defensive head coach. They got an offensive head coach who knows how to win. He knows how to call the play. So I think a decent quarterback that's not going to cost you the game can win you a few games. I can steal a few games in process. Cincinnati Bengals offered Jamar Chase 4 years, $140 million contract. I forgot how much was guaranteed, but $35 million would have been his annual salary. He turned it down. This bothered me a little bit. It did. And because I read another part of the article where it said the reason he didn't take it, they couldn't figure out how the guaranteed money was going to be paid out, the years or something like that. And look, I'm not an athlete. Obviously, people who see me, I'm big, I don't play sports. I get it. I understand. So I don't know what it's like to go from being poor 1 minute and being a millionaire the next minute. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is to be the first round pick. I don't know what it is to catch a pass in the Super Bowl. But I can only imagine it's got to be a sense of humility there. I get it. You're talented. They offered you a contract making you $35 million. I think that's almost the highest paid wide receiver in the league, or up there. He's a top 2 at least with $35 million a year.
Yeah, I think he would have been highest paid.
He would have been highest paid, and you said no because you couldn't figure out some years. Like, I don't know, man. I think that's kind of getting out of hand. What's your take on it?
No, I understand what you're saying, because we're sitting here, we're not millionaires, and we're wondering how these guys can turn down millions of dollars. But what I think is they want that guaranteed money out the way soon, because once that guaranteed money's out the way, I think they can start working on the next contract.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be what it is. I'm not 100% sure. Of course, I'm not in those meetings, but that's what I think is what kind of drives that type of decision to say, nah, you know what? I want my money paid up front. Daniel Jones, his guaranteed money is over this year. That's why they were like, we can't do nothing with him this year. But if he's shitty, which is what we saw in the first game, he's gone after this year. So, because that guaranteed money is over and that cap hit is not as hard as if they would have cut him this year, it's a $60 million cap hit, dead cap hit. So I have a feeling that's what Jamar Chase is thinking, as far as I want to know when my guaranteed money got to be up front sooner, maybe probably the first 2 years. I don't need it spread out over 3 years if it's a 5-year contract. That's what I'm thinking.
That makes sense. But you know what, people, for our listeners that are out there that do listen, we do not rehearse our takes. We get on here. I sometimes put it on an hour prior to what I got to record. And Pete just took me to the next topic I wanted to talk about. I was watching The Facility, which is the new show on Fox Sports that took over for Undisputed. It's Acho, it's James Jones, it's Shady McCoy, and Chase Daniels, quarterback for the NFL, backup quarterback most of his career. Um, they talked about, and they have a segment called the locker room. So they called it a facility because that's what they call the building when you go to, and they call they got segments that call the locker room where they have an honest, candid conversation. Acho feels like Daniel Jones should just sit out. Just say, listen, I'm not what you need. I'm hurting the team. I'll just sit the bench. Y'all put somebody else in. He's had more pick sixes than he has touchdowns since he signed his contract. They try to say maybe it's the coaching, but Tyrod Taylor and DeVito had more touchdowns to interceptions than he's had under the same coach. I don't know what, honestly, if I'm paying you money, I want you to go out there and play. But I'm also the type of person that says, bro, if you're not cutting it, I understand it's dead cap. I'm not saying trade him. You can't trade him. Nobody's going to take him. I'm not saying cut him, but would you bench him and put Drew Lock in? This is your team. What would you do at this point? Because he looked horrible, bro. He looked horrible.
Well, I'll start with this. There are theories that the owner made these guys sign him, re-sign him to that contract because he's very much like Eli. He reminds everybody like Eli of Eli. So and Eli's a god in with the Giants. He won 2 Super Bowls. So Eli's a god with the Giants. So that kind of came into, I feel that kind of came into play. A lot of people are saying that, he probably made them sign. So my theory, it could be, I could be taking a shot in the dark here. I feel they said, listen, we'll sign him. So they got an out. It was a 4-year deal. They got an out after two. So they said, listen, well, if it doesn't work after 2 years, we get to pick our guy. Because Dable and Shane they're from Buffalo. He brought him in.
Yeah,
that's his guy. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, we cut him after 2 years, and then we get to pick our guy. So now to answer your question, is Daniel? Who said that? Acho said that he should sit out.
Yeah, like he should basically tap out. Say, look, I ain't got it.
Look, I know he didn't. Look, I didn't play in the league. I know he played in the league and probably for like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
But he should know no player is just gonna say, oh, let me not say no player because that dude, and may rest in peace because he passed away. Vernon Davis's brother, Vontae Davis, he retired at halftime.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown took off his jersey and ran out.
Ran off, yeah.
So I'm not gonna say no one's gonna quit. But Daniel Jones does not look like the guy who's gonna quit. So now, will they go bet? I see that he continues to play shitty. He's gonna get benched because they don't want him to get hurt because an insurance will kick in that next in next year guaranteed. So what happened with Derek Carr? What happened with Russell Wilson? The same thing will happen with Daniel Jones. It's gonna happen because I just don't think he got it. But as far as him taking himself out, I don't see it happening.
So I'm glad you said that, right? Because Acho was talking about when he was playing for Texas and they were getting ready to go to national championship. He took himself out of one play because he knew he was going to get beat. He's like, I'm going to get beat. I don't want to cost my team the championship. So I sat out and I came back a series later. They clowned him, bro. They clowned him. James Jones, Chase Daniels, Shady McCoy was like, bro, you my man, but you don't ever take yourself out the game.
Thank you.
Takes you out the game. But I understood where he was coming from, right? I understood, and here's why. I sometimes try to relate to where I was at in my career. And it got to the point, bro, where I just couldn't do it no more. And I knew I was done. And yeah, I could have took positions of leadership because sometimes we don't know how to let it go. But how I looked at it was, if I take this position and I got Pete, who's behind me, younger, has more legs than I do, and he's fresh. He wants to go. If I take this, I eat it, even though I know I'm not staying. And now he has to wait a whole nother year before he can move into that spot. When I could just say, look, I'm good. I'm out. He got it. or find who you want, but I'm not in it no more. I'm not saying that Daniel Jones isn't in it. He had a year of flash where you could see something good. Sometimes your talent can't carry a team when the team is not 100% where it needs to be. And sometimes you have quarterbacks that know how to carry a team because they have the talent to make up the 100%. I don't think he's that quarterback. But I also feel like you have to look at the tape and look at yourself and say, damn, bro, either have, like, even with Deshaun Watson, when are you going to sit back and say, what the fuck? Like, I would have a conversation with these cats. Like, if I'm the GM and the head coach, I'm calling you in the office. I paid you. What the fuck is going on? Like, talk to me. What is the plays too tough? Because DeVito, who was flipping pizzas, came in here and played okay. Tyrod Taylor played okay. What's up with you? The same thing with Deshaun. Bro, we gave you $230 million guaranteed. That was the highest ever. And you come out here and look like a scrub. So either you tell me what's up or you know, because that insurance thing is real. That's what they did to Russell. They did it to Derek Carr too. It's gonna happen
It's gonna happen to Daniel Jones.
It's gonna happen. And the reason I don't blame the coach, I'm gonna tell you something. Dable's a good coach. He's a smart coach.
Coach of the year 2 years ago, bro.
Huh?
Coach of the year. Coach of the year 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not Dable, bro. It's not.
And then not only that, look what he did with Allen in Buffalo. Allen's turnovers was down when Dable was there. So it's not him. It's not him. Tyrod Taylor has some success. DeVito won some games. It's the quarterback. It's the quarterback. And I believe what you said. Because I remember when y'all drafted this guy. Everybody's like, oh, it's another Eli Manning. He looks like Eli. He moves like Eli. He talks like Eli. He's Eli. And the Giants wanted Eli so bad. But, yo, everybody's good for a season. You know what I'm saying? Like, a player comes in the league, he's going to be good for that while. You got to evolve. You know what I mean?
Look, we went to his first start. We were there in Tampa. We were at his first start. He had 4 touchdowns, 2 running and 2 passing. He looked amazing. Now, that was his first year. He had the turnovers, the fumbles, but he was a rookie.
Yeah.
All these other years with like Joe Judge, who didn't know what the fuck they were doing, that fucked him up. And then the offensive line, I think he's a shot fighter. I think up here he's cooked.
So,
I think he's cooked.
Bro, it's like you're in my mind, man, because you said something that triggered another thought. Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns. Look good. They were talking about it on the facility. They were like, oh, and Shady like takes a crap on him all the time. Like, he shits on him. I don't necessarily agree with Shady. I feel like Baker went through so much early in his career that if there was talent there for him to show, he didn't have nobody to develop the talent, right? We can speculate. We can't say, oh, Mahomes will still be great without Andy Reid because we don't know what that looks like without Andy Reid. We can say Andy Reid's a great head coach without Mahomes because he was winning before Mahomes, but he never won a Super Bowl without Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Them rings matter after a while. They push you on a higher echelon of coaching. You know, we don't know what certain people are gonna look like without if they don't go to the right team. You know, take Brady, for example. Would Brady be Brady if he would have went somewhere else? Probably not, man. I mean, let's just be honest. If everything matches up, do you think that if, let's say, for example, if Baker Mayfield had an Andy Reid or what's his name? Shanahan. He had McVay, but not forever. But let's say he had a Shanahan from the beginning or Andy Reid. Would he be better than what he is today?
A lot of people like don't realize when he went to he was in Cleveland. Cleveland was a running team. Then they got Odell, and then Odell's dad came out with, oh yeah, he's missing all these throws. But it's like, look at that. He was on a running team, but they went to the playoffs on the road, beat the Steelers. Like, Baker's not a scrub. I think he got the raw deal because then they fell in love with Watson. And Watson is not the quarterback that everybody remembers him to be.
Yeah.
Because when he sat out a year because he just didn't want to play for the Texans, then got traded to Cleveland, and what happened? Suspended 11 games, and the next year he's hurt. He is not the same guy. He is not the same guy. Baker, and look, I think a lot we have said that we all root for Baker. but he went with McVay. The same week he showed up, he won a game.
Mhm.
Like Baker can play. Now, why McCoy takes a dump on him, I don't know. That's why I don't watch these shows.
They
These
said
guys,
he's the number one pick. He says number one pick, and that they expect more out of him. But I also feel like people don't. And Acho did a good job pointing out. Look, he's had 4 different head coaches in his first 2-3 years, and he didn't have the coaching, the mentoring. But the problem is here, these are players. They played the game, we didn't, so it is what it is. I argue with people all the time. You can't say that Baker's garbage when Baker didn't have the consistency that Big Ben had when he came in the league, that Brady had, Peyton had, who else? Hell, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. Jalen has over there in the Eagles. Mahomes got with Andy Reid. Brock Purdy on the 49ers. That team was sorry. They were like 1-60 before he got there. They were 1-60 before he got there. And he did something that organization I think hasn't seen since Jim Brown was running the ball, which was win a playoff game. And now here you go. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a little gunslinger. I think he'd be a little reckless, but so is Brett Favre. But I think that if he had the right coaching, look at Stafford, bro, and the Lions. Stafford was always great, but he was never going to win in that organization. He goes over to the Rams and gets a Super Bowl, and now people saying, "Oh yeah, Hall of Famer, all this good stuff." It's I think the opportunities and the coaching matter when it comes down to development of players. You could be great, but if you don't have nobody to show you how to bring that greatness out, you're gonna be horrible. You know what I'm saying? That's just my take on it. So I'm gonna bring up the games that we got coming up, man. So we could discuss those. Tonight we got the Bills at Dolphins. Um, I don't see no real games next week on Sunday during the day. Um, you got Bengals at Chiefs at 4:25, Bears at Texans, and Falcons and Eagles on Monday night. So let's talk about tonight's game. Who do you got? First off, who are you picking?
Buffalo.
Me too. I'm going Buffalo. What do you want to see from both teams?
I mean, I would like to see Miami be a little bit more competitive. It seems like it's been one-sided with Buffalo the last couple of times. So look, they Miami was leading the division last year, and what happened? They lost it to Buffalo. So it's time for them. If they don't get over it's like the Ravens and the Chiefs. This is their hump. This is the hump they need to get over.
Mhm.
So it's time, man. If not now, when is it gonna happen?
Yeah, I think I want to see well, I don't really want to see them win because I'm picking the Bills to win too. But what I want to see from the Bills side of the house, I use them receivers. Let's because you can't keep getting beat up, Josh. You can't. You run the ball, you can't do what you did last week for another 16 games straight. It's just not going to happen. So I want to see them, throw the ball a little better, execute. But I didn't watch last week's game either, so it is what it is. But
It seems like they say that every year, and that's what he just continues to do. That's his game. That's
yeah,
his game. That's the game that he plays. I think he'll learn if he gets, God forbid, he gets seriously injured and
yeah,
misses the game. But he's gonna get beat up. He's playing football, but that's his game. To me, I see it like there's no way he's not gonna do that because that's just his game. That's how he plays football.
yeah. But he's a good quarterback. I like him. I think he's great. On the Dolphins side, I want to see consistency. Mostert's out today with a chest injury, so a chain is in. I think he's even hurt. And then you got, I guess, the third string running back going to step up. But Tua needs to prove that he can win. And there was a stat, man. He's shit. I can't think of the name. And I think 17-3 in the 80-degree weather. 80 or better, he's like 17-3 or some ridiculous number. But under 80 degrees, the dude's like 500, 17-16, something like that. It's crazy. He can't play when it's below 80 degrees, and you got to overcome that. I know it's over 80 degrees now
They're in Miami.
in Miami. It's over 80 degrees, but I mean, you're not. It's got to start from somewhere. Like you said, you got to beat up the bully that's been beating you up. They're 1-6 against the Bills and Josh Allen as a starter. Tua starting. The record is ridiculous Bills versus Miami. The Bills they've been dominating them.
11-2.
Yep, like that's crazy. That's crazy. So so you got Bills. All right. So then let's go down to the next game. Chiefs, Bengals and Chiefs, bro. I think Chiefs are gonna come out with the win. Bengals are gonna look at 0-2. Unless Joe Burrow can muster up that Joe Burrow that we know. Um, I don't see it, man.
Nope.
They
Not
should have won
happening.
last week and they didn't. They could have been 1-1. Now you're gonna be 0-2. And that's the bad part about it. That's the bad part. So so I guess you going Chiefs like me.
Absolutely.
So look, man, Bears at Texans. I'm going Texans. I don't know, man. Caleb, less than 100 yards. Swift,
He didn't look great. I would say Texans too.
yeah.
Definitely Texans. Texans are at home. It's their opener.
Dunze's hurt. I think Keenan Allen's hurt too. So if he's out, that's now you got DJ Moore alone. And Swift didn't do shit last week because I had him on. I started him. He got me no points, bro. None. Like I lost in leagues because people didn't fucking show up. And then Monday night you got Falcons and Eagles. I don't even know if that's even worth talking about. I'm going Eagles at home. Eagles is about to whoop ass. Falcons looked horrible last week.
Yep.
They Kirk Cousins. The line is 6.5 points for the Eagles. Bears is 6.5 points. Houston 6.5 points. Chiefs are 5.5 points. Like it's crazy, man. All these teams. Browns and Jaguars, bro. They're gonna be in Jacksonville.
Browns better. I mean, somebody's gonna be 0-2.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be Browns, man. I think Jags are gonna win. They could have won last week. Ravens and Raiders. Raiders at Ravens. Ravens gonna be okay.
The Ravens, I think, are gonna destroy them.
Yeah,
It's in Baltimore. I think they're gonna look what they did last year to these teams, the good teams.
yeah. Rams at Cardinals, bro. They both own one.
In Arizona.
Yep, in Arizona.
I think Rams pull it off,
I
but I
think
don't think it's a blowout. I think that's a good game. I think that's gonna be a good game.
I think Stafford and them can pull it off. I just don't have belief in Kyler Murray, bro. That's what it is. I think you saw his press take is his take when they asked him about Marvin Harrison being open. He goes, "It's not my job." Like, bro,
Well, I understand what he said. I think it's taken out of context. It's look at they call plays where certain guys are the first read, second read, third read. So I guess what he meant was it's the offensive coordinator's job to call plays that are going to put him in the position to get the ball. So that's how I took it. I didn't take it like, fuck him. I don't have to get him the ball. I didn't take it that way.
No, I took it like you took it. But here's why I give him shit about it. You're not a rookie no more. And you got extended. You got paid. You got what? He's 3-4 years in the league already?
Oh, Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's 6 years in the league. He was the same draft as Daniel Jones.
So 6 years in the league, right? 6 years. And you can't make the adjustments at the line to get the ball where it needs to go. That's what I'm trying. That's why I said that is your job. When you look at Peyton Manning, you look at Eli, you look at Brady, you look at Rivers, you look at Breeze, you look at Mahomes, Allen, who else? Burrow. If you want to stick to players playing now, they make adjustments at the line, bro. It's just what it is. And your job is to go through your reads. Now I get it. If your offensive line's not holding up and you can't even get to your second read, I understand that. But it is your job as the quarterback to get the ball where it needs to go. You know, we all play Madden. I play Madden. Look, it tells you who to throw the ball to. Is that, but then sometimes you go off script and you go to the person that's open. You know? I don't like that about Kyler. I think it's a cop out in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me. That's just my opinion with him. I don't like when he does shit like that and says, talks like it's not his responsibility and stuff. Like, no, bro.
He could have handled it differently, definitely.
Yeah. Like, hey, I didn't see it. I was trying to go through my reads. Pressure was coming, a little shaky. If I would have seen it, I would have thrown it. I'm 5'11". I mean, I'm 4'11". I can't see over the line. You gotta excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. But you're going to watch a game this weekend. I hope you enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I hope you I hope the y'all watching. Oh, that's the Commanders at the Giants at Commanders, right? You going with your Giants?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. You know what it is? There these games that I'm not good at picking games. So I just like to that's why I don't bet on them because I think a lot of people you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, it's fun when you bet on them." No, it's not. To me, it's not. So that's why I just watch the game. So I do enough betting because I'm doing fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So I just watch the game. Um, if let's say it is competitive, I think it shows how bad Washington is too,
Mm-hmm.
because the Giants look bad. Now, could it be that Minnesota's defense was really good? This Brian Flores was the defensive coordinator, so that could be part of it. You don't know. But and look, a little bit of revenge against the Giants. Remember, he sued the Giants because he thought he got the Giants job, and
Yeah.
they hired Brian Dable.
Yeah.
So that could be a little fuck you to the Giants, like, yo, you know what? I just shut down your coach of the year in get him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's also a Bill Belichick error because he texted the wrong Brian. Um,
yeah.
um, no, yeah, I don't know. I'm actually think you guys can win. And they say Daniel Jones normally has this good second game after having a bad game.
What and also what's weird is he does really good against in his career. He's done good against the Commanders, which
It's
is so
divisional. It's a
weird.
divisional game, bro. It's divisional. You know.
Yeah, but he shits the bed against these guys, and there's divisional too. Like he shits his pants against these guys.
Hey, listen, I will say this. I don't know who to pick on that one. I got to send my picks in tomorrow to the because we don't like the first 2 weeks of our weekly pick'ems. We don't do a Thursday game, so I don't have to pick tonight, but I got to pick Sunday and Monday. And I'm on the fence, man. I got Jaden Daniels on my bench. He did scored really good last week. I think the problem with Jaden though is that if he's not running that ball, can he get the ball out? Can you throw the ball to you need to go to? Can you make them choices? Um, I would go. I'm probably go Redskins at home just because they're at home, and there's no tape on Daniels. But I wouldn't be surprised if you guys come out to win. To be honest, I would not be surprised.
We'll
Um,
see.
even hey, a broke clock is right twice a day. So I mean,
Yeah.
you never know. Um, anyway, you got anything you want to say before we close it out?
Nah, that's it, man. Just enjoy the games, man. See
Yeah,
you next
listen.
week.
Week 2's here. Week 1's out the window. I missed most of it. I was in Dominican Republic. Good time with the wife and the business trip. It was awesome breaking bread with some business partners. But now I'm back. I'm in it. I'm gonna watch a lot of football coming up. My birthday Saturday. My daughter wanted to take me to like a Scotch and whiskey tasting on Sunday,
Mm.
but I don't want to tell her no. And I'm like, hey, maybe let's do it next Saturday. Because Sunday I get to be home. Wife's working. I can watch all the football I want and relax, man. So yeah. Until next week, subscribe, share, like, comment. Leave us a comment what you want to see. If you want to see any kind of improvement to what we do, it's Offsides Podcast. See you next week.